Let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal! Go, 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 go! 6! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. What a beautiful day it was yesterday. Expect another beautiful day today. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Android app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, give this channel a subscription, give the video a like, leave your comments, share with your friends and family. Say, hey, if you didn't know Travis and Ross were back on the air, which we're finding out people don't know, but you know what? We're spreading the word as much as we can. Make sure to tell friends and family about us. Follow us on X, like our Facebook page, and of course, you can also follow us on Instagram. Good morning, Ross Peterson.
What's up, buddy? I'd echo that, man. Being at Bacon Fest, it was cool how many people came up, and I got the whole array. Right, I had people come up. They're like, "Man, listen every morning. Thank you so much. You guys helped me get to work. It feels like old times." Like, yeah, awesome. I had the, oh, hey, I've heard you guys are doing something, but how do I find it? And then I had the whole like, dude, what happened to you? You got screwed.
I was like, I thought you died. I thought you were dead, man. Niedermeyer, dead.
Yeah, I did that. So I had the whole array on Saturday. And that's, I do say, Travis, you're always really good at this. You're much better of like a self-promoter. You're much better of a promoter than I am. You're very good at reminding people, hey, we need you to tell people. We need you to tell your friends that used to listen to the show. By the way, did you know these guys are doing their thing again? It's growing. It's fun to see it grow. But yeah, I'm running into people all the time that the whole gambit. Listen to the show, have heard about the show, and people that
didn't know about the show.
Thought you fell off the face of the earth, man.
And the thing is, I could make the argument we're easier to find now than we were before.
It takes a minute.
It does.
You know, the other thing, you turned on your car and it jumped at you. This thing, true. You got to hit some buttons and you got to, so it's just, yeah. So we appreciate all of you that are listening and watching every day. And we appreciate you telling your friends that used to listen to the old show.
And you can tell your friends and you can tell yourself, you can go to see Shane Gillis at Wells Fargo Arena on May 31st. And the cool thing is, I think it's cool. You get to hang out with Ross and I. I don't know if that'll be a boring time or not.
You get to go to Shane Gillis.
Yeah, you get to go to Shane Gillis.
We'll be there.
We'll be there, hanging out with you. I'll have a beer with you. Well, I'll have a vodka soda with you. That's my choice that's my drink of choice now. I haven't had a beer in a long, long, long time. I'm a Tito's guy. I'm trying
to think the last beer I had. I don't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah. I think I have to go back almost a year since I've had a beer. And it's just, and that was just one of those things I cut out in the diet. It was like, hey, don't drink beer. If you're going to drink, vodka's the way to go. And I was never a vodka guy. Now I'm a vodka guy. And I'm like, Tito's and soda. Though the club I belong to all of a sudden decided that Tito's was top shelf. I'm like, well, hold on for a second. Tito's isn't top shelf. So now I just go, well, vodka and soda. And here's the difference. I got a well vodka soda the other day, and it was $6 at the club. My wife got a dirty martini with Tito's, and it was $12. I go, come on now. Tito's isn't Travis, $6 more than well.
Dude, like everything is more expensive. And everybody that sets the prices keeps saying, well, everything's getting more expensive. I got to make more money. You know, the youth sports thing is an amazing endeavor to be a part of, man. It's incredible at every level. And sometimes awful, incredible.
I mean, think about this, and just in perspective, because I know where you're going here, and then we can have a long conversation about this. I know where you're going. I mean, we just built in Kearney, Nebraska, a $42 million sports facility. That
For
is
a professional team that's going to drive revenue.
No, it's all for youth sports. It's all for youth sports. Youth basketball, youth volleyball, and youth soccer. It has an indoor soccer field, has 8 indoor basketball courts.
Okay. So let's talk about return on investment. All right. We're turning this into an investment show, financial show.
Yes. Finances with Travis and Ross.
So some group of wealthy people have to fund this $43 million thing, right? Well, then how are they going to get their money back from a $43 million investment? I mean, obviously the land is worth money. The property is worth money. They're going to be able to resell it someday and get that money back at some point. But how do they make money with this piece of property? Well, they're going to charge teams to come to that place and play. You can charge teams a certain amount of money. That's how this all got started. Then they figured out, you know what? We can start to charge the parents. Parents have to be here.
I know people who go like to a USSSA game or whatever it is at the basketball level who have to pay $10 to get in to watch it. $10 just to watch the kids.
And this is why baseball is actually the best, because I've never paid to watch Eli play baseball. But I'm sorry, basketball and wrestling, when they've got a gym where you have an entrance and an exit, they've got you. They got the pinch point right there, man. Get everybody. So then we're going to charge the parents to get in to the thing. Well, how do we make even more money? Because again, we got to make more money. Every year when we get together, somebody has to come with an idea of how we can make more money. Well, the idea that somebody came up with a few years ago was this thing called stay to play, where if you want your son or daughter's team to play in this specific tournament, you have to stay at this specific hotel.
No way.
Swear to God.
I can't shop hotels. So if I want to stay in a different town where it might be, I don't know, $30 a night cheaper, I can't do that.
No, you can. You can. You still got to pay the hotel that you got to pay. You can stay wherever you want. You got to pay. You got to pay the hotel that we've got to deal with that might be owned by the same big money people that built the arena, that built the complex to begin with, that you're paying to use their complex, you're paying to get into their complex, and now you got to pay to stay at their hotel that they built near the complex that they built to bring your kid in. It's called stay to play. And I saw this get posted yesterday. One of our listeners, Ryan, posted this, and he will post things frequently that say, all he says is, youth sports are not about the kids. And it'll be some article about parents fighting or the money that's involved in youth sports. And this particular episode, this particular article was about stay to play. That parents are freaking out because they're realizing, it's expensive to be a part of these teams, dude. Last year, Eli was a part of that, a part of a program here in town that's a real expensive program. I mean,
so you dished out a couple $1,000s to play baseball?
$1,000. We'll leave it at that. A couple $1,000 to play baseball. To play baseball with his buddies.
Now, how much travel did you do?
No, we played out of town a couple times, but that again, nothing. We're not at this level. I've never paid to play at I've never paid to get in to watch him at a place. And we've never had a play. We've always had a choice of hotels. Now, again, usually one of the team moms will say, "Hey, I found this deal. They can give us a block," and then we all stay at that hotel. That's happened a handful of times.
I can't imagine being, "Hey, you have to stay at the Hampton. Hey, you have to stay at the Holiday Inn, and you have no choice in the matter," because you're trying to doing it as economical as possible. And there are some families, and we make the assumption that everybody who plays on these teams can afford it. No, there are parents who are sacrificing because they believe in their kids' athletic ability, that they want to be part of this team, and then you get shoved with, "Hey, you got to stay at the Hilton Garden Inn. And you're like, well, I want to stay at the Days Inn. Well, that's not part of the.
Yeah, I'm a Bonvoy member. Can't I stay at the Marriott? Yeah, so. But here's the thing, Trav. Also, I did have a group come up to me, and I'm going to have to find. A couple came up to me on Saturday at Bacon Fest, and they said, "Hey, we're actually starting. We've got this league that we're running. That's a non-competitive youth sports league. So good for you. No, I mean they're saying it up front. This is purely for the fun. Purely for the fun. And if that's for you, then come on, you're welcome to be a part. If that's not for you, that's fine. You've got plenty of other opportunities if that's not for you."
515-517-2303. Let's go to John. John, welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on, John?
Hey, Frank. Wanted to share with you a quick story, kind of what you were talking about a minute ago. Friend of mine, his son is a freshman in college and plays on the golf team. I went down there this fall to watch him play. It was at Oklahoma City Country Club, and it was $25 to get in to be a spectator
to golf,
for a college golf tournament to watch.
Now, can I ask, John, and not that this really matters, but is he a Division I golfer?
Yeah, he plays at Florida A&M.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, you are seeing again, because I kind of was anticipating you to say no, it's like D3. If they even have D3,
an HBCU. So, yeah, it's a HBCU college, smaller, but Oklahoma City Country Club is where the event was at, and that's big money. So I didn't quite understand the rationale for that, but
man,
and that was for 3 days too.
So you had to pay $25 a day every six. So you're $75 in tickets. Now, call me crazy, and because if there's one thing,
by the way, real quick, John, you're a real good friend.
We've never really talked about college golf on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive, for good reason. People would stop listening. But I'm just curious, what is the gallery like at a college golf tournament? I mean, how many people legitimately are there watching?
Maybe 100, 150, all parents and coaches, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point, I guess, is you're just getting money out of people to watch their kids play.
John's nailing it here. Because think about it, Trav.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking. I wanted to.
They're not doing it because.
Go ahead.
Oh, John, what I was going to say is they're not doing it because it's an event that people want to get to. If they made it free, the same 100 people would be there. If they made it $50, the same 100 people would probably show up there. They know they've got you by the short and curlies, dude. And they can squeeze you, and because you're showing up to watch your kid play. You've already put your kid in college.
Yeah.
What's $25? $20. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, man. You're a good friend.
Few $100.
Thanks, John.
Thanks. You guys take care.
You too. Michelle says, this is true. The tournaments that for my kids were all stay to play. And if you had friends and family in the town we played, we couldn't avoid that to stay with them. So just think about this. You go on the road, you've got grandma and grandpa in Dubuque, and hey, we just want to stay with grandma and grandpa. Nah, you got to stay.
You can stay with grandma and grandpa. You got to pay for a room. We don't care where your body is. We don't care about your meat sack. We care about your wallet. It's not the meat sack, it's the greenbacks.
Now, how many of that, like you say, in Waukee or Ankeny or Norwalk, are a lot of these states
I'd never heard of that until I read this article last night, and then doing a little bit of research, I found out this has been the case for years. People have been bitching about this for a long time. You can find forums on
You went down that rabbit hole.
I didn't go down there. I didn't click on the forums, but I did see. I wonder if I could find it again, because I was just on it this morning. Actually, I did see an article that was from a slow pitch or a fast pitch softball forum from 2023, 2 years ago, with moms saying, "Hey, are you guys being required to stay at this one hotel when you're playing this one tournament in Oklahoma?" And they're all like, "Yeah."
Now, where we built the sportsplex, it's absolutely beautiful. The city owns it, but the land was donated by the developer. Guess what the developer owns all around the
hotels?
Hotels.
How did I know?
Hotels. The best hotels in town. I'm actually going to be staying at one tonight.
I love it. Really quick, I think this is an important part of this conversation because I don't want people to. I've seen this with youth sports. Don't assume these bad motives, okay? And Jason says, I don't care how good my kid is. He's only going to play for his community league. No travel ball. Most of the time, it's just a popularity contest. Okay. I love the commitment of playing with the community, playing with letting your kid play with his friends. That's a noble thing. Don't shut yourself off to the idea of travel ball. It's a lot of fun. My kid loved it. It's been a great experience for him and his friends, and we've gained new friends because of that. But the popularity contest is the thing I want to. This is what we do with parents, man. Is we assume the worst motives from people. Now there are people that are like, oh, you're just trying to buy your kid a scholarship. You're just trying to. No, I guarantee every parent's doing the exact same thing. Travis, you know what that is. They're best.
Yes.
They're best. They're trying to figure it out. And every one of us is failing in some way. And we all get to look at each other and go, oh my God, look at how he's failing as a parent. Now, doesn't have his kid playing third base. He's got his kid playing second. What a dummy.
Now, to counter that, sure, it's not necessarily a popularity contest. But there have been parents, and I know them firsthand, that were mad their kid didn't make a certain travel team.
No
and they
doubt.
Started, and they said, but see, I think that's probably not the norm. It's the exception because not too many people have the ability to financially fund a travel baseball league or travel baseball team.
Yeah.
And do that. Now, does it happen? Absolutely, but it's the exception.
And then, Travis, once you get all of this investment, once you get parents that have, dedicated their summer to it, they've had to spend all of this money. Now is when you get this situation where at an 8U game, you've got parents screaming and yelling at umpires. You can't. Eli has a buddy. I won't use his name, but wonderful kid, really smart kid, high achiever. He's going to be a butt kicker. He's a great athlete too, really good baseball player. His dad never played baseball, didn't grow up with it, but this boy wanted to be an umpire. So last year when his baseball season ended, or during his baseball season, he would go and umpire 8U, 9U games. So I asked his dad, that was last summer. I asked his dad, this summer, they're playing baseball together, getting ready to start the high school season. I said, hey, how'd the umpiring thing, is he doing that again this summer? His dad goes, oh, no. No, he learned pretty quickly that he didn't like that. What happened? Oh, parents screamed and yelled at him. He was doing an 8U game, and a parent was mad about a strike zone and was screaming and yelling at him, and he's 14.
Oh.
And he's not a big 14-year-old.
Damn. Well, I did a podcast this weekend with Jerry Pollard, who works for the Big 12 Consortium with John Higgins. And the average age of a NCAA official right now is like 52. They're like, that's a serious problem. That is a very serious problem because you have these guys who are probably really experienced and really good, but they're aging out of the system.
Absolutely. And you can't fill the pipeline. Because a guy goes to do his first game, and it's even Charlie says it could be Little League. This is not exclusive to travel ball. The crazy parents. In fact, I've seen just as crazy stuff at Little Leagues, dude.
Well, and the reason I tell that story about the NCAA officials is because a lot of people are going, well, those are NCAA officials. Yeah, but the only way to fill the pipeline, and every official that I've ever talked to started at the low, doing, U-Trip games, or then it's not U-Trip, AAU games, all that. And if you don't get the experience there, it's not like you can go, oh, I want to be an official and do NCAA tournament games day one. It doesn't work that way.
Dude, we were talking with John Higgins was on our show a couple months ago talking about his camp thing that he does, right?
Yep.
And what a great way that is to actually develop these officials. You get these officials with really high level basketball players. And by the way, there's no parent involvement. parents aren't sitting at the camp screaming and yelling at you like they are on a weekend tournament. But Travis, like to your point, John can't grab a guy off the street and say, "Hey, you want to become an official? I'll start you from scratch, and I'm gonna nurture you in this private environment that's really controlled. No parents are gonna yell at you. You're gonna get really good at doing this, and then we'll put you out into the world." No, your first time is for $5 at a Salvation Army.
Yes. There's so many things wrong with the system, and I don't know how. I mean, from the officiating, the way parents treat officials, to stay to play.
I have a guess here on what's going to happen, okay? Because I want to get back to one of Jason's comments about the never play travel ball thing. It is fun, and if your kid is good, you are denying them opportunities by not having them play against the best competition they can, and let them play at these levels to continue to grow them. And whether that's your priority or not is the first conversation. The gap that is spreading though between those, it's not haves and have-nots is it's probably the right term here, but it's not necessarily a wealth gap. It's just an opportunity gap that's happening. The kids that play on a local level, that play in a community, that play for the fun of it, they're getting left behind by leaps and bounds. The athletic ability rarely can make that leap to put a kid back into the elite class. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. It's going to get more and more expensive because all of these, again, everybody's starting the year by saying, how do I make more money? How do I make more money? I got to make more money by charging more for this product that I have a hold of. And if that product is a hotel or a tournament, and last year I made 15 grand on it, this year I want to make 17.5. How do I make 17.5? We've all been in those rooms.
Absolutely. And it's normal. I mean, you want to make, I mean, if you have a private investment, you at least you want to use that to make money. If a city owns the complex, you want it to at least break even.
Right. And I think they should. And I'm not trying to question the motives here. I'm really not. I'm just trying to explain how you get to this point where in order for your kid to play in a softball tournament, you're going to have to pay $1,000. Not for the season. Not for the season. They're guaranteed 3 games, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. You got to pay for the uniforms. You got to pay for the travel. You got to pay for the hotel. You got to pay for the entry fee in. You got to pay for your food while you're there. You're $1,000 into this if you got a couple. If you're a family of 4. On top of the pain and agony of dragging that 4th kid around to someplace they don't want to be the whole weekend. Been there.
And you wonder how many kids actually want to do it.
The kids, I think, do, Trav. They love it. I mean, what I see, I'd say the overwhelming majority of the kids, they love it. And I think the majority of the parents like it. You know, you're there. Dude, Sunday was awesome. It was absolutely beautiful. I had yard work planned, but you know what I did all day? I sat at a baseball field and watched my son and his friends play baseball and talked to a bunch of my friends that are parents on the team. That was awesome. That was fun weekend. Now, would I have wanted to drop $1,000 to do that? No. Have I? Yeah. And you're driving home going, that was a fun weekend.
How am I going to pay for it? Thank God for Discover Card. We got a cashback bonus, kids. We made $2.33 this weekend. Your dad's credit card shopping. Whoever has the cashback bonus is what we're using. Get to the end of the summer and you're like, man, I owe $10,000. How did that happen?
But that's all right because I got $11.50 coming back in Kohl's cash.
That's right. Son, you made me $11.50 this summer. Good job. That's $2 more than we made last year. That's why Anjanette justifies the Costco membership. You know, because you get cash back. They like she goes, hey, our Costco membership this year we got like $185 back.
And you go, We spent how much?
That's exactly what. All I hear is she goes, so I just paid for the Costco membership. Oh, we paid for the Costco membership.
Yeah.
And then some. Yeah, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, we spent way too much money at Costco. Way too much money at Costco. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, in the end, I believe it all works out, in meaning that if you're a great athlete at 12 years old, does not mean you're going to be a great athlete at 18 years old. You're going to see people drop off, but they will make memories.
Absolutely. And that's what they're doing, Travis. And I think if you're doing it for that reason, if the kid is 9 and your thought is, oh man, I'm going to get them into college. Listen, I've known parents whose kids went to college and were college athletes, and I know kids who are on track to be college athletes as 8th graders and freshmen. That's rare. Okay. The parents who think their kid is a college athlete at freshman, and the parents and the kids whose athletes are actually Division I athletes as freshmen, that's a big gap.
Now, Frank says the problem with Des Moines is that one person has a monopoly on the system. There is no competition, and he ensures he keeps it out of town.
Okay. Yes
what
and
does
no.
he mean by that?
Okay, so I'm wading into some waters that are out of my area of expertise, so I might use some words that are out of place here. All right, I want to be clear. USSSA is a brand, and it's like a franchise. So you can purchase the rights to USSSA for a region. And a guy did that a long time ago. A guy that was smart looked at this and saw the landscape changing 30 years ago or however long it was and said, I'm going to put my money into that because, again, I think this is an investment that I can get a return on.
It's like buying a stock, really. If you bought Google at 50 cents,
yeah,
you got to steal.
Yep. And so now they're the UFC of the MMA world. That's the best brand. If you want to, now there are other tiers of it. That's the umbrella, and then there's all these other things underneath it. Tyler writes CIS. I believe that's for Central Iowa Sports. And again, wading into waters I'm not 100% sure on. I believe Central Iowa Sports is the name of the local group that has that USSSA brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And again, I might be off on some of this stuff. But so when Frank says one guy has a monopoly on the system, kinda, but again, I don't like that assumption of the bad. I don't think that Frank's necessarily assuming bad motives there, but that headline can assume bad motives.
See,
monopoly has a sour taste to it, right? But it kind of is.
What I liked about the Central Iowa model compared to what I have in Omaha, and when we toured, you remember I came up about a year ago, we looked at Ankeny, we looked at the Waukee Sports Complex, because we were just looking at fields. We build a lot of athletic complexes.
Can you toured around with Trina Flack? And
one of the things we liked is that there was one entity or one person who scheduled like every field. And we're like, oh, that's smart, because over here, each entity schedules its field and there's no rhyme or reason. It's hard to get field space. So if you have one person when these big tournaments come to town who could organize the field, it makes it a lot easier than trying to go, hey, I got to go through this scheduler, this scheduler, this scheduler. Somebody has kind of control over the fields. That makes it easy just to make sure fields are getting used.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure there's equity in that too, and that, all fields are getting used.
And I want to go back here because Charlie posted this one earlier. This is an important one for parents out there, because this is exactly the situation. I can attest to this. Every travel team doesn't cost thousands of dollars to play. I had 4 kids that all played, never spent more than $300 per year, and that goes for tournaments, entry fees. You're just not paying the coaches and things like that. That's exactly the situation that I'm back in now with Eli. Again, every parent, I think, does the same thing. You know what that thing is? What their kid wants.
True. Very, very true.
What their kid wants. What do I think is the best thing for them? What's the best opportunity? How do I help them the most? How do I help my kid enjoy this experience?
515-517-2303. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm Corey Warren, and I'm an automotive technician here. I've worked here for right over 3 years. I was working for an independent shop. I'd say the environment, it's laid back and easy to get along with everybody. I've got a lot of old cars that me and my brothers and dad work on, so I do a lot of that stuff. There's actually stuff to do. I grew up in a small town, so there's not that far from being able to do stuff.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Spring cleaning continues. Come down to Land Rover Des Moines to get your front and rear differential fluid services done for $199.95 each. Preventative maintenance is important to ensure your vehicle runs smoothly down the road. To schedule, give us a call or head online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Ross, I made a mistake over the. We got some Big Sky granola?
I'm a chocolate chunk fan. I'm a chocolate guy. Like me the chocolates. So chocolate lovers granola from Big Sky Bread. Just got that last night at the Hy-Vee.
Just walk in Hy-Vee right there in front. Go. I need. What kind do they have? They have what? Peanut butter, chocolate, cherry.
There's a cherry. There's a peanut butter lovers. Man, I screwed it up. Yeah, because I was thinking it was chocolate chunk, but it's chocolate lovers. So maybe it's peanut butter chunk or, yeah, they have a cherry, a peanut butter, and a chocolate.
I would
probably you'll ever have. It's fantastic.
I'd probably go with the cherry. Cherry's probably. I like fruit. I'm not a chocolate person. I do like peanut butter, but when it comes to snacks, I'm probably more of a fruit guy.
You've experienced it, how when I'm around somebody who's got knowledge that I don't have, I geek out. I'm like, oh my God, I want to know. I remember being fascinated talking to Steve and Amy about, because they have like hundreds of bags of granola there, right? And it's all different sizes and chunks. And how do you make sure that all of it weighs the same? And all the labels say 14 ounces. Dude, by state, they have a scale there. By the state weighs and measurements thing, they have to be like within, well, I'll have to ask Steve. They have to be like within 0.01 grams in every bag. Has to be exactly, if you're going to advertise it as 14 ounces, it has to be within a fraction. Yeah, a fraction of that actual weight. Anyway, geeked out on weights and measurements.
I've been up since 2:30 this morning, Ross.
Why?
And I know because I made the mistake of self-diagnosing on the internet at 2:30 a.m. And for the last couple days, I've had this really weird sensation in my heel, and it's like at the bottom of my heel, it's like pins and needles going into my heel. And I don't know if you noticed earlier, I was kind of bending.
When you walk, or just all the time?
Just all the time. Like it's mostly when I'm laying around. Like right now, my heel, I feel like there's needles going into my heel right now. So you'll see me bend down quite a bit. So then I started going, okay, what causes pins and needles in the heel? So I have a number of things that could be wrong with me.
You're dying, aren't you?
No, I'm not dying.
Oh, okay.
But I could have tarsal tunnel syndrome. This involves the nerve compression in the tarsal tunnel, leading to foot pain, tingling, and includes pins and needles in the heel area. Now, is neuropathy a real thing?
Is that where you have sex with dead bodies?
No, that's necrophilia.
What's neuropathy?
Damage to the nerves in the foot and ankle can cause tingling, numbness, or pain, including the heel. It can be related to conditions like diabetes. Now, I don't have diabetes. I'm not even, I might be pre-diabetic, but I think with all the weight I lost, I could have Baxter's nerve entrapment. This is a nerve in the heel area that becomes compressed, causing heel pain and pins and needles sensation. So I either have tarsal tunnel syndrome, Baxter's nerve entrapment, or peripheral neuropathy.
One of those three. That's it.
One of those three.
Charlie says yes, neuropathy is legit. Lump sat alone in a buggy marsh.
But Ross thinks it's necrophilia.
Oh, neuropathy is legit.
Necrophilia is legit. It's not for me.
So what? Yeah. Oh. I've had the nerve pain in the foot. You know what I mean? I've had where something in my back was causing pain in my foot. So, you know who could help you more than me as a doctor?
Yeah, you're probably right.
And I would also say, along with me in that group, it would be the internet.
So I went to the internet.
No. I'm saying with me in the group of a doctor can help you more than.
Oh, a doctor could help me more than the internet.
The internet's a wonderful thing, and it can help you with a lot of stuff. Like right now, the internet is helping you with advice from Reverend Ray. He says medical cannabis will do miracles for you. Had you thought when your heel started to hurt, did you at all think just get stoned?
No, I haven't thought of the medical cannabis. Yeah. I've thought of acetaminophen. I've thought of like Advil, ibuprofen, but I haven't thought of the cannabis yet.
Ray to the rescue. You'll be feeling better in 10 minutes. He'll be pulling out of Omaha. You'll be singing, "Your dealer for life. His name is Stoner Ray."
He'd be like, "Here's a climbing kites." He showed up at the at Grandview at the shooting contest with a big old can of climbing kites. I'm like, "Hey, that a boy."
What did he write to us? He said he hugged Jenny Murphy. And Jenny Murphy said, "Ray, you smell just like I thought you would. You smell like freedom."
How would you like that to be your first words to somebody? You smell exactly like I thought you would.
I
smell.
love Jenny Murphy. She is the absolute best. I guarantee it was said with a smile, and Ray loved it, and that's awesome. You smell just like I thought you would.
Did he smell like weed the Saturday we saw him?
I think he might have had the vape that day.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember him smelling like weed. Honestly, I saw him at Bacon Fest too, and am I just immune to the Ray smell? Have my olfactory nerves died off from the patchouli and weed?
You lost that sensation to smell weed. It's just all around you now. You're like, I don't smell anything. It's
all around you now. Have you been to Vegas lately?
Just to the airport. Just to the airport.
Dude, you cannot walk outside in Las Vegas. And I mean outside. not just on the strip, in the town of Las Vegas. There is a constant weed smell emanating. It's permeated the buildings.
Hell, I notice it just driving down the road in Omaha. I'll be like, man, it's illegal to smoke and drive at the same time. That's driving impaired. Ross, an interesting thing at the University of Kentucky, and this has to do with college athletics. But the University of Kentucky, and I'm surprised this was kind of swept under the rug last week, because it wasn't headlines on ESPN, it wasn't headlines on CBS Sports. I actually found out about it on LinkedIn, and I think it'd be interesting to see how this all works out. But the University of Kentucky becomes basically the first athletic department in the country to break off from the university and form an LLC. So now the University of Kentucky is an LLC, Champions Blue LLC.
I can't wait. These names are going to be amazing.
Which allows the athletic department to gives it more flexibility, makes it more agile. They're going to have a board that is seasoned in fundraising and investing, and also gives it more protections from losses and other things that happen. I have a lot of questions. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how a lot of this works. But if your athletic department breaks off from the university and forms an LLC, are you still tax exempt at that point? If
good.
You're
That's a good question, Trav.
Yeah, if you're a public institution, and you say, "Hey, we need to form an LLC," and what this does too, it allows you to raise money in a number of different ways. Kentucky has said not just fundraising, but this allows us to purchase real estate.
Yeah. I picked up on that. You said fundraising and investing, but you also said flexible and agile, which are buzzwords that should make everybody's brain go, "Wait a minute, what are they selling me? What do you mean you can be more flexible and agile? You mean fast and loose with the rules?"
Or you're able to bring in private equity. Private equity.
Exactly.
Right?
This is, man, so much here. I love Travis. You're so good at framing stuff, dude. But I'm dead serious, because you said it all right. They're the first university to do this. Buckle up. And when you form an LLC, we all know what that is, right? LLC
That's a limited liability company.
Limited liability corporation. What are you doing? When any of us have formed an LLC, what are we doing? We're trying to limit our liabilities. That is very simple.
Plain and simple.
Very simple. So this is, man, years ago, dude, I had a Rostradamus moment. Brain just firing live on the air. And I said, you know what? We should probably just separate school and sports. It's probably going to happen at some point. I know it sounds crazy in my own brain right now. We're probably going to separate school and sports from each other. We'll call the team Kentucky.
It's actually Champions Blue LLC.
But they'll wear the Kentucky blue, and don't worry, they'll put your letters in the right order across the front of the jersey.
I mean,
but the connection to the school? I mean, come on. We're talking about money here. We're talking about money.
I would like to ask Jamie Pollard, because Jamie Pollard's an accountant. Jamie Pollard's a smart money dude.
And ahead of the curve on this stuff.
Yes. You look at what's happening in Ames. I was in Ames this weekend. You know, they're starting to build the bridge, and then Sci-Town's going to follow. And they talk about the advantage of an LLC are private-public relationships and partnerships. I mean, is Iowa State in a position to go, you know what, maybe we should be an LLC? And it's not for everybody. And every expert has said, hey, it could work for some, it won't work for everybody. But when it comes to so I don't worry about the money part of it. I look at it and go, okay, Well, if you've kind of separated and started your LLC, who does the athletic director work for? Who does the coach work for? Who hires said athletic director? Who hires said coach? Is there
a new position? CEO of the LLC. Does the LLC have a board of directors?
And Kentucky's going to have a board of directors that is highly seasoned in fundraising and other activities.
Yeah, other activities too.
Which is, we need a real estate guru. So we may want to buy a plot of land. We may want to own a strip mall. And then charge rent and get revenue that way. But this all comes about because of the changes that are going to happen once the House settlement becomes law. I don't know if I want to say law, but is enacted. Hasn't been enacted yet because the judge has not accepted it because of the roster limits, and they're still trying to figure this thing out.
Dude, and this is leaving kids in major limbo. I saw a friend of mine from high school whose son is a Division I punter. Posted last night basically saying he has lost out on two different roster spots. He was a Division I player and has lost out on two different roster spots because basically told, hey, we're going to have these limits that are going to hit us. And now they're getting phone calls going, oh, wait a minute. Maybe.
You may find a place to land.
Damage is done. May, but like we've talked about with all of these coaches, a lot of these decisions were made. A lot of these relationships were affected. And it's really hard to unring those bells. But real people affected by this stuff. Back to the LLC thing. Some of this stuff I think is really important. All right. And again, I don't just want to assume the worst motives in everybody. And I do think that having a group that can take some of this money and invest it so they've got some sort of cushion, that's smart. That's smart.
And able to make money. Like say, hey, I want to invest in real estate. We need to diversify the portfolio in order to make sure we have millions of dollars in there every single year to pay said players. I mean, I do believe it is trying to take the burden off the university. I do believe it's their mind is in the right place to go, hey, we've got to be creative here. If we do status quo, we're going to get left behind because not too many people can do there's not too many universities, Ross, that can use status quo. We look at the Ohio States of the world, the Oregons of the world, these people, a lot of money. They're the exception, not the norm. And we may think Kentucky has a lot of money, but they're going, okay, we're in the SEC. How are we going to compete with everybody else? We need to do something different. I think it's bold. I'm not a business expert. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a CEO. I'm not an accountant. But I look at it and go, okay, I don't have a problem with it. I just want to know how you function within a public institution as a separate entity.
You got a great you have a lot of good questions there about the legalities of one conflict with the other. Trav, when you said it's not for everybody, can we talk about that for a minute? Like,
sure.
What is the break between it's for and it's not for? I agree with you it's not going to be for everybody. But I'm not sure where that break is. Or initially, obviously, it's going to be that top heavy thing. The ones that will. Is the breaking point? It's got to be beyond just self-sustainability.
Well,
you got to be making enough money to make it worthwhile.
Well, here's what it comes down to, Ross. We make the assumption that not all athletic departments are created equal. And to me, if you're going to run this as a legitimate business, you got to have some vision. Not everybody has a board of directors that has vision, that has strategy, that says, hey, what is our plan of attack here? So in theory, it may sound good for everybody, but you might have to go, we don't have the visionaries who believe enough in our athletic department to go and make this happen.
All right, so Jeff kind of talks about this. Let's take this into the business world for just a moment. So take what you're saying there, that they're going to be competing with each other. Some of these board of directors are going to be better than others. Some of these CEOs are going to be better than others. They're going to have a better vision. They're going to have a better game plan. They're going to have better execution. Then what happens when one of them starts looking around at the other ones and going, man,
an underperforming company.
You know what? Cincinnati's just not doing it right, man. And we could go in there and we could sprinkle our little magic dust on Cincinnati and we could all make a little more money there. What do you think? And then have you guys seen what's happening with Ole Miss? And now all of a sudden that LLC starts going around to other schools and saying, hey, by the way, that Big Red LLC that you guys are working with, what have they done for you? Because here's what we do.
It almost becomes its own bigger corporation that starts buying other LLCs out.
That's good job on, who was that, Jeff?
That was Jeff.
Jeff just saw the future there. It might be 15, 20 years down the road. I think that's going to happen. What Jeff talked about there, it won't sound like that. They're going to figure out a way to change the verbiage will all be different, but what Jeff just said there is going to happen.
And where I think it comes into play is if you have private equity and these hedge funds that come in and start investing in said LLCs, well, a hedge fund might go, oh, this has given us a good payoff. Said hedge fund may be in Kentucky. It may be somewhere in the Big 10, may somewhere in the Big 12, and say, sure, we're affiliated with this, but we're also a part of a bigger conglomerate, which it might make more sense. And we heard about that the Big 12 was considering private equity at one time. Does it become a conference-wide thing and not necessarily an individual school-wide thing?
That's good thinking too. It could be. There's more power in that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
more value in that.
That's why the television contracts have gotten to where they are, man. It's that power in numbers. Travis, okay, so we are both Yankee fans.
Yes.
But I want to talk to Cardinal fans. Would you hate the Cubs less if they were owned by the Bush family? If the Ricketts bought the Cardinals also? If the Steinbrenners purchased the Red Sox also, didn't sell the Yankees? Would that change your passion at all? If Iowa and Iowa State's athletic departments were owned by the same hedge fund.
They are. It's called the Board of Regents.
It's exactly right. It's exactly right. Wow.
Now, Major League Baseball has protections against that, right? I don't think you can own multiple teams.
I understand that. And this is what
you're using as an example.
I'm using it as an example. And this is why the chess moves here have been incredible. To create the LLC is so smart because, Travis, with an LLC, you can absolutely do this. You could own multiple or run multiple. You're basically a property management group. That's all you are. That's all you are. You guys are doing all the stuff. We're just here to help you manage the books behind the scenes, baby.
Let me take it one step further.
I love this.
What if Kentucky can throw out an LLC? What if somebody says, okay, we're going to form a corporation and we're going to become publicly traded?
Yeah. You could buy stock in the Iowa Hawkeyes, the Iowa State Cyclones athletic department.
We're gonna,
and then you don't have to, and then you have to give money to. Then you don't have to give money to the NIL. The NILs are going to get they fade into all of this. I mean, they're Homer Simpson into the bush.
Well, because if you did your initial IPO and then depending on how the stock did, you're paying your players out of that cash flow. Now the business still has to perform because stocks will be. Trust me, Ross and I have worked for a publicly traded company. You do not want to be a publicly traded company. You don't. You don't. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the stock price and the business performance.
Yeah.
And then if you think players were commoditized, whatever I tried to spit out there, it's going to get much, much worse. Much worse. But that is something that I don't think you could take off the table.
No.
I mean, if we're starting with an LLC.
Trav, again, you might just be another 5 years down the road. Somebody earlier said that. Somebody earlier said, hey, wait a minute. Why not just jump this thing right to C Corp and we can make it publicly traded?
Do you think we look back as Kentucky as visionaries?
Remember when the Northwestern football players started to unionize?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, they're visionaries. This is the start of a new wave across the country. And then that died.
Anywhere.
And that died. I don't know, Travis. I do think that this is when you started this conversation, I was like, yep. This is the way it's going to go. There are several things in there that I wrote down that I thought, oh yeah, check. These things are all going to happen. The LLC seems like the thing. The breaking away from the school, the separation of the school and sports seems like a thing that's going to happen. Being able to have a fundraising and investing arm. We all know it's become a cliche broken record. It's all about the money, but at least now it's like above board. They're saying, what are we doing this all for? For money, for the kid, for to protect everybody.
So you can compete. And you don't know unless you try. And that's why I look at Kentucky and go, well, you got to try, because you're thinking right now. And we had Brent Bloom on earlier. When are you going to become an Iowa State employee? I'll let you know July 1st.
I'll let you know when we find out how many roster spots are good.
Yeah. Brent, if you're listening this morning, get up to date on your property management skills. But with Chi-Town, I could see you got a private-public partnership. You have business entities there.
Yes.
It makes a lot of sense.
Travis, to that point, wouldn't a smaller institution be smart to reach out to Jamie Pollard and Brent Bloom and say, hey, how did you guys do? You guys have really made, I don't want to say chicken salad out of chicken scratch, because it wasn't like you started with chicken scratch, but man, you guys have done really well with the resources that you had. How did you do that? How did you nurture this network and community to build this? And I
think it starts with putting quality on the field in the court. And then once you reached a certain level where fans were like, okay, we like the quality of product we have, then you're able to sell the vision of a much bigger. It shows you Chi-Town is an example of how it's so much bigger than just the sports itself. That help feeds it, but there's a bigger vision for the campus, for the university, for the athletic department to go, hey, we have this space here. We have the real estate here. Let's do a private-public partnership, which they've done with Goldenrod, which is based out of Omaha, that has the vision to put up some retail, some hotels, and turn that into a cash flow.
So you're saying they reached out to another entity who's really good at figuring out the logistics of something that they weren't great at.
Yes. So it's like the beginnings of an LLC without having an LLC.
Huh. What an idea.
515-517-2303. We got an hour in the books. We got an hour to go. Good to have you along on a Tuesday morning on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
Fong's Pizza has moved to 317 East Court in the East Village and is ready for good weather with an expanded menu and a patio that is ready for pals, pints, and pizza. Fall in love all over again with the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
Hi, my name's Jerry Rodriguez. I'm a Lexus technician, and I've been with Willis about 28 years. My favorite part about working at Willis has to be my coworkers, teammates, a lot of like-minded folks with the same goals in mind, and that's taking care of the customer. So we have the fishing. I enjoy fishing. We have a lot of good fishing here in the Des Moines area with various lakes.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Tuesday, everybody. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Android app, thank you so much. If you have an Android phone, just download the Rush Radio app by searching The Rush with Travis and Ross. Easy to find. Our logo pops up. You just download it. We'll be right there on your phone. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like. Leave your comments if you feel so inclined to do so. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram.
I just found it funny, dude. Listen, I know there's an entire community of people out there that, first of all, there's two communities, people that love soccer and people that hate soccer, right?
Yeah.
Our buddy Brian Duax is fantastic soccer player.
So when I met Brian, I had no idea the skill level that he had as a player. He talked about how he played at Drake, and then he talked about his sons, who in the one at Centennial and Ankeny is like one of the best players, not just in the state, but we're talking the region. I had no idea.
And Brian, when we posted that picture with our Knob Creek, barrel pick experience.
And by the way, we're gonna have a Rush Radio Show barrel pick for sale at Central City Liquors coming up in about 4 months, 3.5 months.
Yeah,
3.5 months.
Somebody posted on that picture and said that's one of the best athletes in the history of the Metro. Now, I said this to Brian. Brian was like, "Come on," kind of scoffed at it. He goes, "Maybe once, whatever." But Brian was a hell of a soccer player. Okay. Bruno loves soccer. Bruno's a brilliant guy. I love talking ideas and Bruno's fantastic. But then there's those people that hate soccer. So I want to give them a little arrow for their quiver. Sporting Kansas City made MLS history this weekend, Travis.
Okay.
They won Sunday night. They won a game without taking a shot. They won a soccer match, a professional soccer match, without taking a shot.
No shots on goal whatsoever.
No shots on goal.
How do you do that?
The other team had an own goal.
Oh, God. See, now you're reinforcing why I don't like soccer. I would sit there.
I knew that's what I'm saying. I'm giving you guys that don't like soccer a little arrow here. A team won without taking a shot. Could you imagine 90 minutes?
Plus extra time, so you're probably talking.
No, not extra time. I guess stoppage time and at halftime and stuff like that. Yeah. Not a shot, and you walk out of there with the win. Yeah.
You wonder if people who were even there noticed that they didn't get a shot on goal. When I go to a hockey game, I always pay attention to shots on goal on the scoreboard. I'm like, oh, how many shots do they have?
Zero. And again, this is not a knock on soccer. I just thought I found the headline to be funny. Like, oh, there was a history in the MLS. That's cool. Wonder what the history was. Oh.
You say it's not a knock on soccer, but you're giving us an arrow.
Yeah.
So it's a knock on soccer.
I didn't read when I saw the headline. I didn't open it to be like, oh, here we go. Let's bash on soccer. Kojin says you can win a baseball game without recording a hit. Absolutely good. Great point.
Yeah, but we have a pitcher's duel there. I could justify it in my mind.
Yeah.
I have a conspiracy theory I want to throw at you.
I love this.
Has to do with sports. Has to do with the NBA.
Okay.
We had Indiana beat Cleveland. Huge upset in game 1 of the semifinals in the Eastern Conference. We had New York beat Boston last night. We had Denver beat Oklahoma City, and nobody's beaten Oklahoma City. Nobody. And they went on the road. My conspiracy theory is this. By the way, Boston missed 45 three-pointers. You want to know why people don't watch the NBA? Because they're just chucking up shots, and they're missing.
Wait, did you say they missed
45 three-pointers?
Like in a series?
No, in a game. They missed 45 three-pointers. So here's my conspiracy theory, and people are going to think I'm stupid, and that happens all the time because I am stupid.
We all are.
I look at these games and these upsets because you have 3 pretty big upsets here, and the Denver Oklahoma City one is a head scratcher. Boston was up by 20, and New York comes back and wins. Are these underdogs winning to gain more interest in the NBA playoffs because nobody's watching? Like, we got to boost something. Oklahoma City lose. Boston lose. Cleveland lose. We don't want you to lose the series. We want you to lose at home for that first game so we can get some interest in this. We've got to fire up the fan base. We've got to get people interested in the NBA. I know that's a reach. I know it's a stretch.
I mean, is it? I'm not trying to feed into it. I don't want to fuel. But is it that much of a stretch? The NBA has done some weird things in the past. And now you even have some of these ex-NBA players now doing podcasts and stuff that talk about it. Not necessarily like, oh yeah, the fix was in. They came in and told us blah, 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 but alluding to that stuff.
Yeah,
I can't tell you you're crazy. I mean,
teams would tell you you're crazy. We compete. We want to win.
Of course they would right now.
I get that.
Of course,
what's the best for the NBA?
And absolutely. And I don't care what they say right now. Everybody will lie to you. Like, people that love you will lie to your face. You think that these NBA guys have $1 million contracts and would come out and go, oh yeah, they told us they really wanted this thing to go at least go 5 or 6 so they could sell some more tickets. And no, but in 15 years, you might get a guy that comes out and is like, oh, or a Tim Donaghy situation. Wasn't that guy's name?
Yeah,
Tim Donaghy. He was the official that was betting on games. Hey, there's Audrey. Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I mean, so that is.
So, dude, I can't tell you you're crazy. What I'm saying is, it might take us a decade to find out whether or not you're right. And I wouldn't put it past them. But I'm also the guy that thinks that they're spraying aluminum on us when an airplane flies over my head. So do with that information
It's
what you
vapor.
will.
It's water vapor, Ross.
Yeah, that just doesn't dissipate.
Because it's so high up in the air. It's just
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then it becomes a cloud. Anyway.
Hey,
I'm
they didn't land
probably
the guy in the moon either. So
I was probably wrong about the underground cities that they were built. Oh, wait.
The phone calls I get during the day, folks. Hey, did I tell you about this underground city? They're real.
Mike says, Jesus, Ross, take off the tinfoil. Mike, I wish I could, dude. I'm trapped inside of it. I'm trapped.
Ross gets on here the other day and talks about these underground cities that are like doomsday cities. And I'm like, well, you watch Silo on Apple TV. He goes, oh no, this is a podcast. They have like 45 of these places built. I go, this is Silo. This is literally Silo on Apple TV.
There's like 170.
Does anybody know where they're at?
Yeah, they know where most of them are. This lady that was, I don't know, she might be a total kook, but man, it was fun to listen to.
She might be a total kook, but man, it was fun.
Again, will people lie to you?
Yes.
Yeah, people that love you will look you in the eye and lie to you. So you got to be conscious that people that don't give a crap about you will lie to you.
Sherrod Moore, the head coach at the University of Michigan, is going to be suspended for 2 games this season. Now, conventional wisdom would tell you, and this happens to do with the Connor Stallion situation.
Oh, really? I didn't realize.
Well, because Moore wiped his computer clean.
Oh, okay. Okay. The cover up, worse than the crime.
The cover up is normally worse than the crime. He's also now a repeat offender because he got in trouble for recruiting violations during COVID, which is stupid. The recruiting restrictions that took place during COVID were some of the dumbest things the NCAA ever did. If you didn't think people were going to recruit during COVID, I mean, what were you thinking, right? I mean, Ross, did you think coaches were recruiting during COVID? Do you think, don't talk to players? What do you mean don't talk to players? Because if I don't, somebody else is going to be talking to them. Matter of fact, the NCAA should have said, keep these kids sane. Talk to them all the time.
Yeah, right. Everybody knew best, dude. Everybody knew what was best for everybody else.
But Moore's going to be suspended 2 games. Now, conventional wisdom would tell you the first 2 games of the season would make the most sense. It's going to be the 3rd and 4th game of the season. So he's going to miss the Central Michigan game at home and then the road game at Nebraska. He's coaching the first 2 games of the season because the home opener against New Mexico, and then Michigan goes to Oklahoma, and Moore is an Oklahoma grad where he played, so they're letting him coach where his alma mater is.
I love it because I love the way you said that. They're letting him coach the first 2 games because the first game is the first game,
and the second game is.
And the second game is special to him, guys. Can we just let him? I mean,
that's what they did, right? You know that's exactly what they did. He was a starter for the Sooners. He's going back there. The whole reason we scheduled this is because Sherrod Moore can go home.
I mean, are we heartless? Are we heartless? What are we talking about? We're going to make the guy miss his homecoming game? We can't make him not coach the first game. I mean, it's the first game.
I didn't know you could cherry pick which games you were suspended for. Did you?
The NCAA, yeah, sure. Yeah. Now, or is this Michigan? Is this Michigan or the NCAA?
This is Michigan in a self-imposed self-imposed punishment. I always love that. We're self-imposed punishment. We're going to suspend him so you don't give us even more punishment.
Yeah. I wish, when I remember those days when I was poor and you'd go to get tasty tacos and you'd go to run your card and it'd be like, hey, you're broke. You're broke. You'd be like, oh, I overdrew my account. And the bank would say, Well, then you owe us more money because you overdrew your account. You've caused us work.
Yeah, it's a fee. That's an overdraft fee.
I wish I could have called the bank and said, "Hey guys, bad news. I broke the rules, but don't worry about fining me. I've done a self-imposed fine. You guys don't have to worry about punishing me at all. I've already punished myself. I sat down with myself, had a stern talk. I've put a financial penalty onto this.
I've learned from my mistake. Next time, I'm going to get 2 tacos instead of 3.
I'm not going to pay. Now, just so you're aware, I'm not going to pay myself back right away. I'm going to see, because the way that my money works is I'm going to have to. But in about 6 weeks, I am going to pay myself back for this self-imposed fine. Thank you for your concern.
I wonder what banks thought, and I know why they do it because they make money, but if you didn't have the money to pay for said tasty tacos, where do they think you're going to be able to pay for the overdraft fee?
Travis, it's one of the great, like, funny, paradoxical, ironical, whatever, oxymoron. If you have money, they give you money. If you don't have money, they take more money from you. It sounds like a joke. It's like, no. It's the way the money works. And it's true. It's true. None of us would, I mean, again, but when you say it that way, you know, the truth.
If you have money, they give you money, which is true.
It's true.
I was looking at my credit score the other day. It was like 858, right? I'm like,
oh, look at this guy bragging. Look at this guy. Holy cow. 858. My goodness. They just giving you money?
Well, and that's the first. I'm like, I could go buy a really nice house, one that I can't afford, and watch my credit score just plummet.
You should call Gary Presnell. Say, Gary, here's the income, here's the credit score, here's the debt. What can you do for me? Beep, boop, beep, boop, 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 beep. Call Ross is what he'd say.
You could live at Glen Oaks. You could.
So, yeah, good for you.
24/7 Sports a couple days ago came out with the Big Ten power rankings. We're in that doldrums part of the year where we just talk about randomness. But the Big Ten power ratings
you couldn't
came
tell
out
by the first hour and 16 minutes.
Actually, I thought
no,
was a pretty good conversation.
This has been fun. It's been a good show. I don't mean that joking.
But you know, these power rankings always kind of crack me up because, like, what allows you to set those power rankings? Is it last year's performance? Is it portal performance? And I look at it and go, I might agree with that. I don't agree with that. But here are the power ratings from 24/7 Sports for the Big Ten Conference. And I'll work from 18 to number 1. No surprise, 18 is Purdue. Purdue's got a brand new coach. Purdue was absolutely brutal last year. I don't expect Purdue to have an Indiana-like turnaround in 2025. So I can agree with that. Northwestern is 17. Maryland is 16. Mike Locksley is going to be on the hot seat. I mean, he's been there long enough now. He's had a little bit of success, but you look at Maryland, Ross, and you go, what are you doing? You know, it's like one of those, what are you doing? I was surprised at UCLA being 15. With Nico Imalavala, now the quarterback at UCLA, I believe their over-under for wins went up by 2 wins. Their odds of winning the Big Ten, or at least getting the Big Ten championship game, improved. But 15 for UCLA, does that surprise you? Based on just Nico coming in.
Yeah, and again, you never know when these things were put together. I think that they've known Nico was going to be there before they would have done this power rankings.
No, it was after he got
there. How much impact is he going to be able to have? They weren't a very good team, but I mean, sure. I guess as this thing as you play out here, I could probably see them ahead of a few other teams, but I won't push. I don't think they're going to be that good, and he will help that team a lot. He's good. We saw that.
Let me ask you this, and I'm throwing you a curveball here. I don't mean to do this, but if you had to name Big Ten coaches on the hot seat, who would they be for you? Because then I can give you where they fall in the pecking order. Big Ten coaches on the hot seat.
Yeah, that's a tough one, Trav. Nothing's coming to mind.
Okay, I'm going to throw one out. Luke Fickell at Wisconsin.
Dude, that's a good one actually. Yeah, because expectations are high. He's not meeting expectations. They're moving in the wrong direction. Luke Fickell's a good one.
So he fired his offensive coordinator. They came in, got away from the brand. When you thought of Wisconsin, that's what I like about Iowa. As much as Iowa drives you crazy sometimes with its boring offense, what the brand is, and they've never gotten away from that. When Nebraska hired Bill Callahan to replace Frank Solich, it got away from its bread and butter. That was power football. Wisconsin got away from power football, went to kind of a spread offense that just didn't it looked weird. So Luke Fickell's made some adjustments. They come in at number 14. I promise you this, if Wisconsin finishes 14th in the league this year, Luke Fickell ain't going to have a job at the end of the year.
And
I would be shocked.
And shouldn't.
Amen.
So are you telling me, is this your long way of telling me Wisconsin is 14?
14th.
Holy cow.
14th in the power ratings.
Well, that explains your, hey, who's the coach that's on the hot seat, Luke Fickell? Yeah, definitely. And you're right. If they finish, Wisconsin is one of those programs, Trav, that should not be in the bottom half of the Big Ten. And if they are, then look at the fall off that's happened there. They were a perennial powerhouse. They really were. I mean, you some people might think that's stretching it. Wisconsin was always a team for a decade. They were a team that was in the conversation to win the Big Ten. Was it going to take a big upset over Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State or something like that? Yeah, just like any team that was on the west side of the conference. But Wisconsin was the class of this for a decade. And now to think that they would be 13. Our buddy Ken Payne says we should look at Wisconsin's schedule for next year. But I'll pull that up. You keep going on your list here. Wisconsin
but Wisconsin's going to be that poster story of, hey, the grass isn't greener on the other side. Just in the sake of making a change, for the sake of making a change is not always the best idea. And you can look at the coach you have and go, hey, it's not going the right direction. But if you're going to replace said coach, you better have a plan. And I don't know if Luke Fickell was at. Rutgers comes in at number 13. I don't think Greg Schiano's on the hot seat. I think Greg Schiano should be at Rutgers the rest of his career. I don't know if anybody can have success at Rutgers like Greg Schiano's had. I mean, they had like the 15 worst hires in college football the last 15 years. And Chris Ash was one of those. He was at Rutgers. I mean, Schiano is just like that perfect fit. Michigan State, number 12. Washington, 11.
Wow.
Minnesota, 10. Iowa, 9. That puts them right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
USC at number 8 on the power rankings. Here's another coach that's probably going to be on the hot seat. Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley has not produced to the level of what USC has expected and what he did at Oklahoma.
And that's another one of those can't miss. Luke Fickell's going to go to USC. Look out. Oh, my God. The star power. They've got unlimited resources. Now they've got the boy wonder of football, the guy that's going to change it all. That faded.
Faded quick. Because you're all, everything fades fast if you lose. Nebraska, number 7. Nebraska moving up. Dylan Riley will be a sophomore. They loaded up on the offensive line. I think that's a pretty good spot for them. I actually think I'm not sold on the Kurt Cignetti. I love the Kurt Cignetti story last year. I love the Indiana story because we love that rags to riches. I'm not ready to put Indiana at that number 6 spot like 24/7 is. I'm like, that's that recency bias.
Okay, so you think Indiana should not be 6 after the...
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think they lost a lot.
Okay.
I would put Nebraska ahead of Indiana. I would, and I would probably put Iowa ahead of Indiana.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I would not. I think you've got to give Curt Cignetti Matt Rule has done really well. Matt Rule has got that program going in a better direction than it had been the previous decade. Nebraska, if you can't sit back now and go, you got to wait and see with Nebraska, I don't know what to tell you. Indiana did it. Indiana did the thing that Nebraska has been telling us for 15, 20 years, that they look out next year. We got this quarterback, and man, once we get another year with him, he's going to get a lot better.
Now, schedule plays a part of that. Indiana, you shouldn't have to apologize for your schedule, but it does play a part of that.
You're right. And maybe you're right. By the end of this, it all works out. I think if you're power ranking stuff right now in May, you've got to give Curt Cignetti a little bit of props. I'm with you, Travis. I think that the chip on the shoulder thing only can work for so long. That attitude of, at some point you got to bring in the guys that want to be the big dog, not be the chaser.
Michigan comes in at number 5, and I think that's a lot to do with beating Ohio State at the end of the year. Now I'm going to ask you if you're surprised, because Illinois is number 4. Brett Bielema wins at Wisconsin, but he does not win at Arkansas, and he's able to win at Illinois. He had 10 wins last season. Some people think that they could compete for a playoff spot this year. We're talking Illinois.
Travis, is it just a matter of play style? How is it that a guy like Lincoln Riley has great success, goes to arguably a better opportunity, and can't win? Brett Bielema. And we see this with coaches all the time.
Greg McDermott was on last week when he talked about
Greg
McDermott's on the show talking about, hey, I didn't have success at Iowa State. He's open about it. And Ross,
what is it?
It sounds simplistic. It sounds overused, cliche-ish. It comes down to culture. It comes down to just, do you fit in?
Remember what word Greg used? People.
Brett Bielema goes to school at Iowa, coaches at Kansas State, ingrained at Wisconsin. All of a sudden, you're in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yeah.
And he did everything he could. He's a personable dude. But sometimes you just don't mix. You don't fit in.
It's culture.
Lincoln Riley's, Texas Tech, Oklahoma. All of a sudden, you're in Southern California.
Yeah.
Culture. Fran McCaffrey. As long as he was at Iowa, and he's the all-time winningest coach in Iowa history, did you ever really feel that he fit in?
Connection, culture, those words again? No.
Yes. There was no connection there. Ben McCollum's going to have a connection. Kirk Ferentz has a deep connection. Matt Campbell has a connection.
Over and over and over. Yeah. Hendo, Joe Woodley, Drake, connection.
Darren DeVries had the
community.
Connection.
Yeah. The people.
It all comes down to people.
What's the difference? How 4 for Illinois?
4.
You know what? Go get them.
Ohio State comes in at Oregon comes in at number 3.
Oh, okay. Oregon at 3.
Ohio State number 2. And Penn State is number 1 in your power rankings from 24/7 Sports. It's hard to argue with those top 3. I guess I look at Penn State and go, until James Franklin proves it to me, he shouldn't be number 1 in anything, but that's fine.
It's throw a bag over those 3 and we'll figure it out at the end. Illinois 4.
Who's lower than you thought they would be, and is Illinois your one that's higher than they thought?
Wisconsin is the one that's the lowest on there, just on the snapshot.
Yes.
And in a normal year, you would just swap Illinois and Wisconsin and go, yep, that's what the Big Ten looks like.
Because what we're experiencing with Wisconsin right now is what we experienced with Nebraska from 2002 to maybe 2009, right? You're so used to seeing them in the upper echelon that when they're not there, you go, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Then you
And
realize,
for traditionalists, it is weird to see Nebraska and Indiana in that top, and to see Purdue dead last. And they were a good program. They've turned out some amazing talent over the years.
Well, don't forget what Greg McDermott said on the show last week. Why he picked his head coach now is because in today's day and age, if you don't maintain some of that level of consistency, a program can just dismantle in one day. And that's why he picked Alan Huss to be his head coach, so he can get him in there and build that relationship with the people so they don't bolt on him when he officially retires.
The people. All right, real quickly, the Wisconsin schedule, because holy. Okay, they start off with Miami of Ohio and Middle Tennessee. 2 home games, 2 wins. They go to Alabama.
Oh.
They host Maryland. They go to Michigan. They host the Hawks. They host Ohio State. They go to Oregon. They host Washington. They play at Indiana. They host Illinois, and they play at Minnesota. They might finish 14th in the Big Ten.
That's crazy. And you said Ohio's not a guaranteed win. Oh, I mean, it's a MAC school. I believe Ohio won the MAC last year.
Oh yeah, nice. Miami of Ohio that opening week.
It Miami? Was it Miami of Ohio or just Ohio U?
It's Miami of Ohio. I'm sorry.
I thought you said Ohio U, so it's not Miami of. Okay, so yeah, I'll give you 2 wins there, but the rest of the way,
it's tough sledding, dude.
Good luck with that. 515-517-2303. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by our good friends at Willis Automotive.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
I'm Tyler Koenig. I'm a Chevy technician. I've worked here for almost a little over 3 years. I was a student at BMAC for Automotive Applied Science. Through school, you have to work at a shop, and Darcy offered me a job through school. Willis sponsors the community college. The variety of what we get. I mean, I work on the Corvettes, and then I also work on the trucks. Get outside. I have a motorcycle, so I ride my motorcycle. You have both the city, and then if you want to get, like, Ledges is 30 minutes away.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Ross, you see the story out of Pittsburgh from the other day?
I saw the guy jump out of the stands, and then I saw that he lived and he's moving now, right?
Yeah,
And then
he's got a broken neck. He's got a broken clavicle. He's got a broken back. But he took his first steps like yesterday, so he was able to walk.
I don't mean to giggle, but so yesterday, or this morning, maybe I saw a headline about an usher at PNC Park getting arrested, and I thought, no way, they arrested the usher for that guy jumping out of the stands.
Oh no, and the usher I don't think was arrested. He's been suspended by the Pirates.
Yes, and by the way, have you seen the video of the altercation we're about to talk about?
And if I'm that usher, I'm pummeling that fan. I am pummeling that fan.
And honestly, from the way the story reads from some of the witnesses, he deserves a raise. They should give this guy a promotion and a raise.
I think, and we'll get to the whole story in a second, but I think at the end of the day, they suspended him because he put his hands on a fan.
Because they had to.
Not only did because they had to. It was a politically. There's a reason he's not getting fired because he wasn't in the wrong.
It's their self-imposed penalty. That's what this.
Yeah, exactly, a self-imposed penalty. Because for the longest time, said usher used a lot of self-restraint. He was just doing his usher duties because you had two fans that were harassing a woman in the stands, and he's like, "Hey guys, you can't do that."
Now hold on. The way I read it, Travis, was they were harassing one of his coworkers.
Oh, I didn't see that. I heard he was harassing fans too. Isn't it funny how we read things differently?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he went up and asked these fans, "Hey, you got to go. You got to go. We're not going to tolerate this at PNC Park." And then said fans started engaging the usher. And at one point, spit on the dude. Did you see him spit on him?
I didn't see that part. I didn't see that's where it,
If you went far, that's not what started it. I think he had hit him after that. Or before that. But they were calling him names, doing all sorts of stuff. Finally, Usher just throws a right hand and delivers. I mean, absolutely delivers. And then that kept going. And then they cut to a new part of the video, and he's like, "I'm going old school." Because I wouldn't have thought of this, Ross. I got to keep this in my artillery bag because I would have never thought of this. Usher unbuckles belt, takes belt off, and starts whipping the fans. I'm like, yeah, keep going, dude.
So I did confirm. This is from CBS News in Pittsburgh. It says a game day employee for the Pittsburgh Pirates has been suspended after getting into a fight with a fan in Sunday's game. Sources tell KDKA it started when the fan and his friend allegedly started harassing a woman who worked at a concession stand. The game day employee intervened, diverted the two men away from the concession stand employee, but eventually their exchange became heated, and the game day employee is seen in a video trying to walk away several times. He does, as you said, he uses a lot of restraint until he doesn't.
Until he does. And everybody has the breaking point, right? It's almost like those two fans wanted to get him to said breaking point.
Yeah.
Let's see how far I could take
They
it.
obviously they keep approaching him. The one guy keeps getting in his face. I'm assuming that they're very drunk. He does. He takes his belt off.
Takes his belt off.
Full half and starts.
Yeah, but at one point, if you keep watching that video, the guy with the beard spat on him. He spit on him.
The guy with the beard just looks like a POS, doesn't he?
Once you spit on somebody, you have a right to get your clock cleaned. Just, we talk about, I know a lot of people who like usher at arenas and stuff. And they do it because they get to go to games, they get to go to concerts and stuff. That's another thing I wouldn't want to do because 90% of the time, probably 95% of the time, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's that 5% of the time where you get fans like this. Or you're just like, I don't want to deal with it.
I mean, it's probably even lower than 5%, but I'm with you. Whatever it is, the one or two incidents would not be worth the. But like this, I think I'm gonna see if Conley can come on with us later in the week, and because I kind of have some questions about Saturday night, because he sent me the text yesterday. Said we didn't have any issues. Like I wonder, and maybe that's might be a relative term when they say no issues, does that no arrests, things like that. I wonder how they train or even hire their ushers.
What does de-escalation look like? Because ushers at this stuff aren't your typical bouncers at a bar. They're usually 80-year-olds who are just
Yeah, I mean, and yeah. I don't think there's, a firefighter test for them.
No, you get paid minimum wage and you get to watch a game. You get to watch the UFC.
See, this is the stuff I need to see. And now I've got a story that's going through my head, or at least a thing that's going through my head. JT says, my buddy retired from the state, works at the iCubs, and loves it. Not only that story, think of when you go to the iCubs, it's the same ushers every year, Travis. For
you
decades.
Get to know them. They're like family and friends.
So they love it. So maybe we're overthinking it. Maybe these things are that rare. Maybe these problems that we're talking about that would be enough of a distraction for you and a deterrent. They obviously aren't, because it's the same people doing it year after year after year after year. The retention is off the charts for those jobs.
Yeah, the Pirates should pull this usher in and go, here's the deal. We're going to suspend you because we have to, because we can't let our ushers physically manhandle people. But we're going to give you the slot. We're going to put you in the suites after this because we're kind of happy with what you did.
You know what we're going to do? You know who can put their hands on people? The security team. So you're not going to become a part of the security team because we need people like you that are able to step in and do what's right. Good job on the fight or flight, my friend.
Have you ever seen people go after ushers? I never really have. And I don't know why you would. All they want to do is put you in your seat and tell you that, hey, knock it off, jackass.
No, I don't think I've seen fan fights, but I've never seen somebody go after an usher. Not even my friends that got kicked out of places got into fights with the ushers. Like, you're just doing your job. You're right. I screwed up. I shouldn't have thrown that thing on the field. You're right.
Because there's usually that filter with fans going, okay, I could get kicked out.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and the last thing you want to do when you're at a game, even when you're hammered, you have that filter of like, I don't want to get kicked out. I better calm down a little bit or they're going to make me leave.
Yeah.
Do ushers have like radios where they can just call, hey, I need some help in section 101?
I don't know. I mean, maybe at a place like PNC they do. This guy didn't. I mean, this guy did what he was supposed to do. You can see it in the video. He gets these guys away from the woman that they're harassing. You can't hear exactly what's being said, but he continues to walk them away, and the guys continue to follow him. Okay, Ross wrote in and said, ushers at the Iowa State events. He says, I'm an usher at Iowa State events. Our training is call a supervisor or security and just be as friendly and de-escalate.
But what happens when you can't de-escalate? Or do you not have this usher was trying to remove said, do you just wait for security and say, you got to get these guys out of here? Somebody with guns, radios, and Kevlar can remove them. I just don't get fans sometimes. I don't get it. Wow. Reverend Ray told us it's Bob Seger's 80th birthday. Don't tell me you don't like Bob Seger.
I do like Bob Seger. Yeah, I mean, listen, I grew up in Des Moines, Iowa in the 80s, so KGGO made it so that I can hear I can name a Pink Floyd tune in one note, and then I can imitate Jack Emerson ramping up that song. 95 KGGO.
Money! Is that Pink Floyd?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job. Seeger is 80 today.
Wow. How do performers, Willie Nelson's in his 90s. Keith Richards looks like he's 90.
Yeah.
Mick Jagger. How do performers, Stevie Nicks is still performing.
Yeah.
How do they still, does that keep them young?
What keeps them, dude, what's the common thread between all those people? You know this. What's the common thread between all those names you just said? Go through those names again. Willie Nelson. Stevie Nicks.
Drugs.
It's drugs. Chemicals. How did they do this at that age?
If they don't
Chemicals.
If they don't kill me, if they didn't kill me when I was 40, they're going to keep me alive when I'm 90.
How does Keith Richards do this? It's his health regimen. It's probably his diet and his exercise that keeps Keith Richards going at this age, right? Willie Nelson. How does Willie Nelson keep going? Well, the guy's run 143 marathons. Oh, no, wait. That's not Willie Nelson.
He just smokes weed every day, every hour, every minute. So you're saying I should do drugs?
I didn't say you should do drugs. You asked me why all those people are still doing it. How they're still doing it. Not why. How. Dude, I've seen Stevie Nicks live, and I swear they had to wheel her out to the microphone. She was catatonic while she sang.
Was she with Fleetwood Mac at the time?
Yeah. They had Lindsey Buckingham. It was a great show. It was at Wells Fargo Arena. It was fantastic. Lindsey Buckingham kicked ass. And Stevie Nicks was there. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe she's just having a bad night.
Bad trip.
Bad. I see what you did there. Now, Mick Mars is the worst I've ever seen on stage. Because he's got a degenerative back disease to where they literally like put a pole behind him that he could like balance on. Motley Crue at Wells Fargo Arena.
JT asked if she had wardrobe changes. None. She wore the same gown. None. I'm telling and people have said to me like, oh man, I just saw Stevie Nicks. She was fantastic. Top of her game. Sounded great. Looked great. She was the Saturday Night Live musical guest a couple weeks ago. So Audrey's only exposure to Stevie Nicks is that. So just giving you the opinion of somebody that didn't know Fleetwood Mac, not a great performance. Audrey, what'd you think of Stevie Nicks on SNL?
Ew, is that what she said?
From the mouths of babes, right there. Ew.
Well, I mean, the worst concert I've ever seen happened to be at Wells Fargo Arena, but it was Justin Bieber. I took Greta up to see Justin Bieber. He wasn't in a good place. Was not in a good place.
Oh, was this the one where he showed up like super late?
Yes, late.
Holy cow! I don't remember you guys were in town for that.
Yeah,
that's like a moment in Des Moines, dude.
Yeah, I think he grabbed a chair and like sat down and it was just like, I'm like, okay, I'm here for my daughter. But my daughter, who's a Bieber fan, is like, this is weird. Just really, really weird. And this popped into my head because I had a friend on Facebook last night ask, what is a concert you would not pay to see? Oh, there's a lot of them out there.
Well, that's a weird question. What would you not pay to see?
If like somebody just gave you, how about if I just gave you tickets and you
But that
wouldn't go?
implies that I still want to go see it. So you got to find that sweet spot of a band that you wouldn't pay to see, but still would go see. Or is she asking what's a concert you wouldn't go to? Because again, that's a long list.
Yeah, most concerts that come to town just because.
Tyler's got it right. Tyler's got it right. What's a concert you couldn't be paid to go see?
There's a
there's a lot of there's a lot of like Cardi B. I'm trying to think of some of those other artists that I just like. I'm not impressed by Lady Gaga. I think she's got a pretty nice voice, but the performances I've seen of her, she was really great on the Super Bowl show. I don't think I'd want to go see a Lady Gaga show. Audrey says she would not go to Stevie Nicks. You could not pay Audrey to go see Stevie Nicks.
See, I would pay to see Stevie Nicks. I would, just because I haven't seen her before. And if she sang Silver Springs, which is one of the greatest written songs of all time, I would be able to see that live. But that's a generational thing. That's a generational thing. I don't expect an 8-year-old girl to go, God, I want to go see Stevie Nicks.
Right. She doesn't have the connection to it. Doesn't make her she has no feeling for Silver Springs.
What is a concert you somebody offered you money and you'd be like, nah, I'm going to turn
That's
down
a tough one.
$100.
That's a tough one.
It is. It is. Don't forget, we do want you to see Shane Gillis. And if you go to therushradio.com, that's therushradio.com, and click on the promotions tab, just enter your information right there, and you'll be registered to win a sweet experience at Wells Fargo Arena as Shane Gillis, comedian, is coming to town. And, you might get see what probably would you say Shane Gillis is the most popular comedian out there right now?
Yeah, I think that's a good conversation. He's definitely in that man, you'd have a hard time finding 5 comics, I think, that would have more of a draw right now than Shane Gillis around the country.
Yeah, I mean, Kreischer was there for a little bit, but he's kind of fallen off. Larry the Cable Guy was there for a little bit. He's fallen off.
You got Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle. Those guys have been in that slot. Right now, it's Shane Gillis. Yeah, Nate Bargatze was probably the guy that held that mantle right before
Kirk
Shane
says
Gillis.
Matt Rife. That's another generational thing. I'm not a Matt Rife fan,
but a big name.
A big name.
Yep.
I get why a generation likes him. I'm just too old for it. It's just.
I mean, there's only certain comics for a very short period of time that can do arena shows. Cat Williams was just here, and I wish I could have got down to Cat Williams. People that were there said he was hilarious.
I look at Shane Gillis, and he's politically incorrect. He's doing comedy today that you probably couldn't have done 5 years ago. And it generally makes people laugh because he does it. His delivery is non-threatening, non-serious, right?
How did you put it yesterday? We were talking before we went on the air, and you said something like T-shirt and jeans, or do you remember how you put it? Like we were talking about how Shane Gillis does not come across as a performer. He looks like the janitor got up there and grabbed the mic and started telling some jokes.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the allure to him is you see him and he doesn't look like a Division I athlete, even though he was. And there's something about him. You look at him and you go, oh yeah, that looks like my cousin.
He's just able to make a connection.
Yeah.
And it comes down to people. Going back to our reference earlier, people. And Shane Gillis makes that connection. So we want to send you to see Shane Gillis. Again, go to therushradio.com, click on the promotions tab, and you'll get signed up and be a piece of cake. Tomorrow on the Rush Radio Show, I'm not going to be here. Justin Miller is going to be filling in for me. Oh, don't give me that look. You knew I wasn't going to be here. But Ross and I, we double booked. I was trying to help him out.
No, that's good. That's good. I'm going to reach out to Joey Woodley today because I had Joe Woodley set up to join us at 7:30 tomorrow. And then you told me that you actually reached out to Coach Heller.
Yes.
Thank you for that. That's awesome.
Of course, Iowa's going to have a huge series at Principal Park this weekend against Oregon State. It'd be nice to have big crowds at Principal Park, but Rick Heller, head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes, scheduled to join us tomorrow at 7:30 with Ross and Justin Miller. What else you got? We got about 4 minutes, 6 minutes.
I got some fun stuff for you. I think, and we're not Jersey guys by any stretch.
No,
but I did see for us guys that remember the golden days of jerseys. One of the great pro sports jerseys is actually making a comeback. The Diamondbacks, are going to bring back that like dark purple and teal.
So like the original logo,
kind of not the original logo,
the original colors.
The original colors. Okay, now they're doing this. This is their man. What do they call it? City Connect. Is that what they use that term for? They're to reconnect the team with the city, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing whatever it is. Tyler probably corrects me and says turquoise. I would call it purple and teal, but whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about. The purple jersey. When I remember like Luis Gonzalez, when I remember Mark Grace playing for the Diamondbacks, when I think of Randy Johnson playing for the Diamondbacks, I remember them in like this purple jerseys with the turquoise or teal lettering. They're bringing those back for their City Connect jerseys, but it's not they're not doing it with the old logo. They're doing it with so now the iCubs will do their thing where they're not the iCubs, they're the Demonios Demons.
Yes.
So they're doing the same thing. They're not going to be the Arizona Diamondbacks when they wear the City Connect jerseys. They're going to be the Arizona Serpientes. I'm probably screwing that up. I could use Senorita Puffer's help here. I'm imagining it's serpentine in Spanish, but I'm not. I'm barely lingual.
Or serpent in English, right?
I don't know.
Serpent is a snake. A diamondback is a rattlesnake.
There you go. See, Travis, world traveler.
I try.
Thanks for tying it all together for us.
I happened to be in Arizona when they announced the expansion franchise of the Diamondbacks.
Oh, really?
So I wish I would have kept it, but I got like the first hat of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I was down there. They're like, "Hey, new franchise coming next year," and I was able to purchase an Arizona Diamond, which was black with a purple bill, and then the A was turquoise and also had a little purple in it. That's why I thought they were going to bring back the original logo.
No, just bringing back those jerseys. So, but I thought they was pretty cool. And again, not a jersey guy, so, and I'm kind of being a smart ass when I say that golden age of jerseys, because what I really mean is when I cared, when it would have mattered.
The golden age of jerseys is still, to me, the Yankees, the Cardinals. I'm an old school guy. I like the Yankees have been retro since the beginning of Yankees.
But here's the thing, but not everybody can be Alabama and Penn State. There's only so many colors you can put with white.
That's true. Are the Cubs retro? When you look at the Cubs uniforms, you go, man, that's a classic.
Well, here's the thing. They screwed up. Because the Cubs had that period of time in the 70s where they did the baby blues. They've messed with it enough that no, it's not. Cub fans might not like to hear that, but they messed it up.
All right, Ross and Justin will be here tomorrow. If you missed any part of the show, going to be up on the podcast very, very shortly. And you can also go to therushradio.com and just click that listen live link. You'll be able to just listen right along. For Ross Peterson, I'm Travis Justice. We will see you tomorrow on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hey everybody, this is Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. A couple of great things going on this month. We got tons of inventory, and on top of that right now, we have 1.99 out to 60 months on the new QX60 and up to $2,500 in cash on here. Also this month, we are still doing the 2.9% up to 60 on new QX80s, the 3000 in Conquest. For more information, visit your favorite Infinity sales consultant on our showroom or online at willisinfinity.com.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Spring cleaning continues. Come down to Land Rover Des Moines to get your front and rear differential fluid services done for $199.95 each. Preventative maintenance is important to ensure your vehicle runs smoothly down the road. To schedule, give us a call or head online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.